Hi you guys, my name is Olivia. Thanks for joining me on my channel. If you're new here, I am a stay-at-home homeschool mom to two kiddos. I have a 9-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. I share homeschool things and I also share lifestyle things, and today I am going to be sharing with you guys an unopen with me.
Is it called no, it's called an open, what do they call it, an unboxing. That makes sense.
I'm going to be opening my planner mail with you guys and then doing a flip through of my planner. Getting a video out to you guys has not been easy. We had VBS one week, and then at the end of that week, my husband came home with a cold, and so then it was a couple days of, well, I'm not gonna like pop out, make a video because the kids aren't occupied, that sort of thing. And then my daughter caught it, and I'm like, oh no. So I started really pumping my son and I full of things that I was hopeful was going to stave off this, but it didn't. And so then my son got it, and in between my daughter and my son getting it, I had a day where I could actually film and show you guys. And what I wanted to do was do an unboxing of the Beautiful Feet curriculum that I had shared that we were going to be in my family curriculum video that we were going to be using this year for our read alouds, and it was going to be the Teaching Character Through Literature package. Anyway, I bought the whole package. I literally was recording myself and I opened the box, and then I have a little slip in there saying that the teacher guide is back ordered and is out of stock until the 3rd week of August, so they'll ship it out to me then. So anyway, I will do that video when I get the curriculum in. Didn't get a chance to put up that video, and then my son got ill, and I'm like, oh no, and then I got it. And so if there's a congestion situation, that is why. I'm sorry it's been a while since I got a video out here. Hopefully you enjoy this planner flip through. I have not seen this planner on YouTube a whole lot, and I haven't really seen it a whole lot on Instagram either, even though this brand sells out a lot and has a lot of digital products. So anyway, what it is it's the Rad Happy Planner. This is I think they changed the name. It used to be the Teacher Planner. I think it's the Educator's Planner now. Let me tell you, I've been through a little bit of a planner journey. I mean, I'm going into my 4th year of homeschooling, so it's not the longest journey, and I know a lot of people are super particular about planners. My very first year, I had an Erin Condren planner. I can't remember which one it was, but it was the one that it was like daily and it had space for me writing out lesson plans and stuff like that. I had a girlfriend who had gifted it to me because she had bought it and then she had come across another planner that she wanted to try, so she gifted it to me. So I used that, and I have to say my first year of homeschooling, I didn't really have a huge appreciation for planning, and that's because my son was a 1st grader and we were using basically like an open and go curriculum, and I really did just kind of do the next thing that was planned out for the week for the different subjects. And then the next year I realized I wanted to incorporate a little bit more from different companies within our homeschool day, so I wasn't using all the same curriculum, and that's when I purchased a different planner. And what I had purchased was the Plum Paper, the homeschool planner, and I have to say I love that planner. I bought them for 2 years. I customized it and had it all laid out. It has so much extra in it though that I never used 3/4 of it. I really didn't. There's so much extra besides just the monthly and the daily planning, and other people really utilize that to, the maximum extent, and I think that planner is great for those that are doing it, but it's kind of an expensive planner for me not using a whole lot of it. Like, there's a lot of goal writing and that sort of thing, and I don't plan out goals like that. It's just not the way that I homeschool with my kiddos yet. I mean, maybe in the future I will, but I did that for 2 years. The Plum Paper planner, they're great. Well, the homeschool versions that I used. They were very compartmentalized, and again, I just found myself kind of not using all of the stuff on the layout. And there was very spaced out in a way where each box was very purposeful. And I am not someone that can just open like a blank notebook and create my own layout, my own plans like that. There's other people who are so talented. Oh my gosh, I could watch those videos on YouTube for so long of when they create their planners and their layouts for their week or what have you. That is not my strength. And so I needed something kind of in between the very purposeful, outlined sort of planner and then just an open book. I needed something that had a little bit more structure than that, but a little bit more freedom than the really tightly laid out sort of planner. They have such a good mix of space that is purposeful, but it's not, it's completely undated, and there's no tight boxes for like your subjects. I'm gonna show you in the flip through, but it's basically a, like an open strip so you can write in your own subjects, and an open strip of line for each day, which is exactly what I needed, because in the boxes, and I have fairly small handwriting, sometimes the boxes just were, maybe I'm just not concise enough in my writing, because I would need more space than what I was given in the boxes for all the subjects. So this planner really, it just works out perfectly for what I need. And even though there's a couple extra pages, and I will show you that in the flip through, that I didn't use last year, but maybe I will try to find a way to use this year, I'm wasting a lot less. And because it's undated, you can start in any one of the months that you want to start in, and then you're also not wasting anything. Anyway, I'm gonna do a full flip through for you guys. I have really, really loved this. She has just dropped a bunch of new planners, and there's personal planners on there, and there are, she has some really cool creative type of journals on there too, which is super neat, that I would definitely take a look at if you're interested in that. Yeah, the educational planner, the educator's planner, that's my jam, and I'm just so happy I came across it. I don't know how. She has a really fun Instagram page too that I will link down below, and she's always interacting on there. And she also offers like a monthly coloring page, which I think is really neat too. So anyway, I'm gonna get to the flip through. All right, so all right, this is the Rad Happy Planner Education Edition. This is last year's book. It's the same size. I've obviously used mine a lot, so it's a lot more flexible and malleable right now. This one's nice and pristine. Okay. All right, so we're gonna open it up, and you have your welcome page. And then you have a couple pages of blank dot grid. And then it opens up to this year at a glance. So you can break this up by trimester, you can break this up by month, you can break this up by semester. You can really break this up however you want, by quarter. It's all blank, so you can utilize this however you feel is going to be of the best use to you. This is a blank birthdays page. Pretty self-explanatory. This is a memories page. This is different from last year's. This was not in last year's copy. Turn it, and you have these checklists. So I know she took feedback on this. My copy from last year does not have as many pages of these as this one does. A lot of school teachers wanted a couple more pages worth of these. I've seen lots of homeschool moms utilize these in tons of different ways. So there's a few pages of those. And then she has the month layouts, and she has them all together in this section in the front, instead of it being the month and then the month's worth of weekly layouts. I prefer that way better, but a lot of people really love it this way. As you can see, it's completely blank. So you can choose what month you're starting with on this. You don't have to choose, you don't have to start in August or September or July. Say you start at the beginning of the year, say you're grabbing a new planner in the middle of the year. This way, you can literally use up the entire year however you need to, and you're not wasting your planner. She's got some blank space here, and then it is for you to date and fill in however you want. If I counted these right, I'm pretty sure she has 13 of these, but there's at least 12, so one for each month. All right, and then she does this really cute thing where she has this coloring page to separate between each of the month's worth of weekly layouts. This is different than last year's. Last year's, this was mine here. All right, so here we go. This is what I absolutely adore this planner for, is because of this weekly layout here. So it's completely undated, but there's a lot of space. It's kind of structured, but it's not so structured that you don't have freedom to really do a ton with this. This is new this year. This was just a big blank area in my last year's copy, but she now has a line for gratitude, and she has an important line. So you can go up here and underline or circle whichever month you're starting on, and then I usually highlight the week or I box out the week, and I just, move it for each week. So this, I will show this to you now, and then I'll give you an example of how I used this last year. The differences this year are, like I said, there is no gratitude or important lining up here, and something that she had apparently gotten feedback on was she wanted, more people wanted a darker line in between the days. I don't particularly appreciate this part of it. She used to have an option where you got version 1, and then there was a version 2 where you could have the darker lines. She only has one version and one option now. She kept the to-do and the notes. She kept the next week here at a glance, the tasks, and then a little checkoff box right here. There is this blank space here. This is where I put in our subjects. And as you can see, it's not blocked off every 4 or 5 lines or what have you. And I love this because I end up writing, sometimes I only used 2 lines and I'd miss, like 3 lines that they had offered me in the box. And then I'd have to skip down to the next box. And sometimes what I wanted to write went into the next box and I wrote too much. So I love the freedom of being able to move it around how you need to. She has space here for the weekends. This next week is a pretty cool little kind of reminder box for something that you want to remember about the next week or look ahead for the next week. These tasks were great. I'll show you how I utilized this as well. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, 5 weeks worth of this. Of these weekly layouts, and then it's another really fun coloring sheet that separates the next month's worth of layouts here. So let me flip to the back. They're all going to be like this with some really cute coloring in between. She does have 2 bookmarks here, which I think are so nice so that you can put one in your weekly layout. You can flip the other one to the month if you want, or you can flip it to your checklists. You can utilize these however you want. I love that this book sits flat. I love that it doesn't have rings. So when I'm writing here, my hand doesn't bump into the rings, or if you're left-handed and you're writing here, your hand doesn't have to sit on the rings. No matter where you lay it, you have to kind of crease it just a little bit, but it lays flat, which is wonderful. I love, love, love this. Okay, so after the very last weekly layout in the very back, you have these spreadsheets here. So you have a whole page of lined, and then you have a whole page of dot grid. Again, it's completely blank, so you can go ahead and circle whichever month you're using. Love this because nothing goes to waste, again, because no matter where you start, at the end you can just backtrack, so it's great like that. I did not really utilize these in the best way last year because it was my first time coming across it, and I am still kind of learning what it is that I want to document or what to plan or what to write down in general. So what I plan on doing this year is kind of just making notes of for each subject what it was that we went over, and maybe something that my children struggled with, something that was too easy, something that was just right. Maybe list out the books that we wound up going through that month. So she has 12 or 13 of these. And then she has this pocket back here, which is really nice if you're someone who uses stickers or something like that. You can keep all those here or what have you. So this is a flip through look of a Rad and Happy Education Edition planner. I am going to give you a quick look at kind of how I use this planner in a week. This was last year's first week of school. Here, I just have stickers to block out my kiddos' names. But like I said, I can make my own size boxes. So for science, I did not need that much space, but I used a lot of space for language arts. Same with history, I just didn't need a whole lot of space. And otherwise, in a lot of other planners, you'll have the 5 or 6 lines, and it'll give you already a certain amount of subjects that you can go through. And I love the customization of this. So I started with morning time, and then I did nature study, language arts, history, science. This is my daughter's here, what I went through with her on her own, and then this was math. The to-do list here, I used this in a way where I wrote out what exactly our memory was for our memory verse and what our hymn was supposed to be. Some notes here for nature study. This is apple week, so I was giving myself a reminder to go ahead and grab apples for the ingredients of the apple pie. And this is basically how I used it. This is why I really liked the lighter lines, because sometimes I would write something that we were doing for the entire week out through the line, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult with this really firmly demarcated line here. But that's okay, I still love it. So what I did here was, these were my son's independent things that I didn't, these are really just like his open and go, let me know if you did it. So he could choose to do whatever he wanted in whatever order. And I would just write out vocab, handwriting, geography, and your history reading, and then on whatever day he took care of it, he would check it off over here. I used this in this sort of way, like doctor's appointments, or if I needed to get ingredients, or if I was planning on making sure I was going to do like a project or something, I would write down grab supplies for what have you. Up here, these little open boxes were really nice for when you actually had the appointment, and then say you have like some sort of lessons outside of the house, or a game outside of the house, or an appointment outside of the house. You could definitely write it down here in these open spaces, or write it down here. Totally utilize this however you like to. As you can see, this is how I identified the month and the week. I just did the school week on here instead of doing the whole week for the weekends, because this was also a way that I went back and would identify our attendance. So if we only got to school 4 days of the week, I'd only highlight 4 of the days or what have you. But as you can see, even though I write a good amount, I still have lots of extra space. So this way, where it's open and there's a little bit of structure, but there's still so much room for creativity and organizing this the way you want to, that there's just so much room for you to add as much as you want or as little as you want, and I'm not cramming things in or begging for space in other ways. This is another way that I can give you an example of how it's really nice to be able to write right across sometimes, or block out something that is supposed to be specific for the whole week. This is another example of how I utilized this for appointments or big days or what have you. As you can see, things change. So sometimes when you buy a planner, like when I bought the Plum paper planner, and you really categorized it exactly how you wanted it in the summertime, which is when I was buying it for the school year, I wound up not using those boxes the way that I was originally going to use it. And so then it kind of wound up being a waste. This gives a lot of options for several tasks for however you want to put these down. You could use these for chores. And anyway, I just think that it's so fun and it's so customizable, and It's a very nice size, and it has just enough structure for you to utilize all of this space, but not so much where you're constrained for only using the boxes the way that the boxes suggest or give you space to use them. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the planner, or I can answer questions on the plum paper planner that I had used in the past as well. I don't remember the Erin Condren planner. I don't have that one anymore, but I do still have my plum paper one, so I can definitely answer some of those questions with you. I would love for you guys to share, if you guys are planners, which planner if you have a tried and true, leave it down below, because even though I love this planner, I'm always, checking different things out. Or if you've had ones that you have used in the past and you enjoy it, I'd love to know those ones too. So thanks so much, guys, and I will see you in the next video.